Hey y'all, I am going to share with y'all some really easy and delicious Cinco de Mayo recipes. It's coming up in a few days, so you're going to want some of these recipes. And I'm going to make some Pico de Gallo. It goes with any kind of Mexican dish. And all you need is an onion, some lime or lime juice, some tomatoes, and some cilantro. So you're just going to cut everything up in a bowl and you're going to season it. I will have the recipes linked down below in the description box. Just chop it up into pieces and then we're going to add in some onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper, and I'm going to squeeze in some of that lime juice. I never use a recipe. I usually just mix it up because it's really easy to put together and it really tastes good on any kind of Mexican dish, and especially with just some tortillas. It is amazing, and this is what I look forward to every year when I get my tomatoes in the garden. So just mix that up and that's all is to it. You can put it in the fridge for later or you can eat it now. It's good just as it is right now. And I want to make some Mexican rice. I haven't found a recipe that I like yet, so I just keep buying this rice until I can make some that I really like. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started, and then we're going to get started on some tostadas. I've never made any, I've never had it before, but it's just like a crunchy taco. It's just a flat crunchy taco. And I got those from Aldi, and some of them were broke, but I just fished what I could out of the bag, and now I'm just going to put them in the oven and let them bake for just a few minutes. You don't want them to get really dark, so it takes just a couple minutes. So make up your taco seasoning. I'm using chicken, and I'm using some canned chicken, so it's going to be a lot easier and faster, but you can use ground beef as well. So like I said, I will have some recipes linked down below in the description box. So now I'm going to add in some salsa, and I'm also going to add in a couple tablespoons of my homemade taco seasoning, but you can just use a packet if you would like. And I'm going to add a couple tablespoons and stir that together and let that heat up, and then we'll be ready to assemble our tostadas. I can't wait. All right, so now my rice is done, my taco meat is done. Now we're going to assemble it. I've got this bean dip. I had it in my pantry that I had got on sale, so I thought I would use that. I just heated that up in the microwave, and I heated these up, and that hit the bottom, and it got on the burner, and it burnt, and it set on, and it caught on fire. So make sure you're careful. And I've got some lettuce and some avocado, and I didn't have any cotija cheese, so I used some feta cheese, and it was so good. So if you don't have any kind of Mexican cheese, use that because it seems like it's very authentic. And now I'm going to add in some of those pickled jalapenos, and I've got some salsa and some sour cream. All right, so I just laid a layer of bean dip down and some of that chicken, some lettuce, and some of that delicious pico de gallo, and I topped it with some avocado and some of that feta cheese, and this was amazing. But the best thing I think about it was that I took some sour cream and I thinned it out with some lime juice and also some of that pickled jalapeno juice, and put that over the top, and that was so good. That made this taco. It was so good. Every time I have a taco now, I'm going to have to make that concoction because it was so good. So this is a tostada, and you've got to try this recipe. I promise you, you are going to love it. And we all loved it. My daughter even loved it. She loves all kinds of Mexican food, so make that. And now I'm going to make some fajitas. I had some chicken that I needed to use up and some of that cilantro, so I've got some fajita seasoning in there, and I poured it over the peppers and the onions. I don't know about you, but I always usually order this because I don't know what all the other stuff is. So I know what fajitas are, so I usually get that a lot. I might go out of my comfort zone sometimes, but this I think is just one of the most perfect Mexican dishes. And I made this. It says rice and pasta blend, but it was more pasta than rice. I did not like this at all, so I would definitely not make that again. And I bought like 5 or 6 packs of it because, of course, it was on sale or on clearance, but I do not recommend this. You might like it if you like more of a pasta than a rice, but I didn't like it. So now I'm going to go ahead and cook this in my cast iron skillet. So I'm just going to fry that until the peppers and onions are done because my chicken is already cooked, and I'm just going to stir that around till the peppers and onions get done, and then I'm going to heat up my flour tortillas and we'll assemble everything. As you can see, this looks more like spaghetti than taco rice, but we ate it anyway. But I've got some shredded up cheese, I've got some cilantro, some of that, some thick and chunky salsa, and some sour cream. And we're gonna assemble our delicious fajitas. The fajitas were 10 out of 10. That rice was like a 2 out of 10. So, highly recommend the fajitas. Do not get that rice, taco rice, pasta, whatever it is. But the fajitas was delicious. This one is going to be a sheet pan quesadilla, and I'm going to season up some hamburger with some taco seasoning, and I am going to add in some green chilies because I love it. But you'll take some butter and you will butter one side of the sheet pan and then the bottom of another one. And I got the large flour tortillas. The recipe says 8 or 10, but the packet only had 8 in there, so it didn't come out exactly right. But you want to get a pack with 10 in there. You'll want to put 4 and 4 and then 2 in the middle, but I didn't have that 2 in the middle, so I kind of had to improvise. But you want to fill the whole bottom of your first sheet pan with the tortillas, and then I'm going to add in the taco meat. Alright, just spread that out evenly, and then I'm going to put some cheese on the top. You could probably use any kind of toppings you like, if you like olives, onions, peppers, something like that. And now we're going to fold it over. Since I didn't have all the tortillas on there, it made it a little bit hard. So it did say you could stick toothpicks in there just to get it down, and then you're going to take out the toothpicks and put the bottom of the sheet pan on top. Press it down really hard to get everything mashed down, and then you'll put it in the oven, and then you'll take the top off when it's almost done, and I'll have all that recipe linked down below, and you'll just let it brown on the top a little bit. And this came out really good. Even though I didn't have enough tortillas, I made it work. I flattened it out and it was nice and brown on the top. So I'm going to let that cool off, and I'm going to make some Mexican corn. And this was so good. I had some corn in the freezer, so I got to use that up. It just calls for some cilantro, some mayonnaise, sour cream, and I'm going to use some more of that feta cheese. It's like that cotija cheese. So that was so good. I mixed that up and put some salt and pepper and some garlic powder and a little bit of that lime on there and mixed it up. And then I just took a brush and just brushed it all over the corn. This was just amazing. Y'all have got to try this. And then I just threw some cilantro leaves over the top, and now we're ready to eat. I've got my quesadilla on there, and I'm just adding in some lettuce and some cheese and some of that salsa and some sour cream. This is just the perfect way to make a quesadilla for a lot of people, especially if you're having a Cinco de Mayo party. But this was so good. My grandkids loved it too, and I got 2 thumbs up. And this is something I've never had before. I made a taco similar to this, but I've never had the meat. And this was from Aldi. It's a birria meat, so we're going to try that out. It was a pretty tough cut of meat, so you are want to cook this low and slow. But you can also use a chuck roast and make it the same way, and I will have a recipe linked down below, so you can just use a chuck roast and just cover it with seasoning and cook that in the crock pot like I did this one. I don't know what the spices were that they used, but it was really good. It was smelling really good. And I took some liquid and put it in the bag and got out a lot of that juices. But all you're going to do is add 1 cup of liquid to the meat, and you're just going to cook this low and slow. It said 8 hours, but it was a lot longer than that to get it to be tender, but it was worth the wait. I think next time I'll add more liquid to it, because you're going to use your liquid in here as a dip, and you're also going to dip your tortillas in it, so you want a lot more of that liquid than I had. So I'm just going to dip my corn tortilla in the liquid and get it coated, and then we'll fry it in the frying pan. You don't want too much of it or it will split a little bit. Mine split a little bit, and also I started out with this non-stick skillet, but it was not non-stick, so one of them stuck to it, so I went ahead and switched to my cast iron skillet. You'll add your meat and your cheese, and then just flip one side of the tortilla over to the other side and let it cook for just a minute, and they are ready to go. And you'll just dip your taco into that birria broth. It was so good. And I made some queso to go on the side. I just used some sliced white cheese, some milk, and also I used some green chilies and mixed that up together and put it in the microwave, and it was so good. All of this was amazing. I highly recommend this recipe. And now we're gonna make a dessert. This is gonna be some Margarita bars. I did not like the crust because it's made with cake mix. I will have the recipe, but I'll also have a recipe for one that uses graham crackers, because that's what I'm going to do next. But I melted some butter, and I took some of that butter and put it on the bottom of the pan so it wouldn't stick. But this said put it in a small pan, but next time I am going to make it in a 9x13 pan, because I think the size pan just made it too thick and cakey. So maybe that would work with the cake mix, but I don't think I would try it again. So I will have both recipes down if you want to try it, but I really don't think the cake mix worked in this recipe, but the topping was amazing. So I will definitely be making that again. So all you did was melt your butter and add your cake mix in, and you will also add in 1 egg, and this is going to be your crust. So just mix that all together, and you're going to put that in your baking pan. And then you're going to just press that out into an even layer. And now we're going to mix in the filling. This is a block of cream cheese, some powdered sugar, and you're also going to put in some eggs. There's 2 eggs, and I'm going to add that to the mix. And then you're going to mix that up really well. You're going to add in some lime juice, and also going to add in some vanilla. And it's really simple, a really simple and easy recipe, just a couple ingredients. And add that to your crust, and you're going to bake it at 350 for 40 to 45 minutes. Let it cool off and dust it with some powdered sugar. This was so good, y'all. The topping anyway, so I cannot wait to make it again with the graham cracker crust. So I hope y'all enjoyed all these recipes. They were really easy to make and really delicious, and I hope y'all have an amazing Cinco de Mayo, and I will see y'all in the next video. And make sure you check out down below. I'll have all these recipes listed.